into the PHNX Coyotes podcast, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah Merrill here with Craig Morgan, fresh off of hip surgery, and Steve Peters, fresh off of spending a lot of time in his in-laws' basement, back together in studio for the first time in about a month. Super thrilled to be here, and even more thrilled to welcome our special guest today, Arizona Coyotes' newest assistant coach, John Madden. John, welcome to the PHNX Coyotes podcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
John, we're gonna get to your role, your background, and all that in a minute. But I was remembering your career, and I was looking through some things. And if I have this written down correctly, I got to ask. I think it was your first full NHL season. You win the Stanley Cup. You're back in the finals the next year. You win it again in 2003 with New Jersey. You win it again with the Blackhawks in 2010. John, do you feel spoiled?
I will say it's kind of a crazy story. After our first year and then going back to the finals, like you said, I was like, "What's the big deal? This is easy." And then I found out rather quickly it was after 2003. It was quite some time before I had success in the playoffs, or my team had success in the playoffs. So that reality check kicked in real quick.
Just being a part of 4 teams that went to the finals, 3 teams that won the cup, though. Do you look back on that now and I don't know what your emotions are, but you must feel blessed in a way, because there are guys that never get that kick at the can.
Yeah. I look at it all the time, and people ask me questions about it. So the first year I was just a rookie trying not to do anything bad and screw up and just stay in line. And hopefully Scott Stevens didn't yell at me, or one of the other players yell at me. And it was great. I was a rookie, and it was fantastic. The second year I played a little bit more of a bigger role. Obviously we lost, but in the 2003, I was kind of the forefront of, the most ice time as a forward. Maybe I think I may have led the team in points. I'm not sure. And then my last year in 2010, when I was a little bit older, it was just about, again, not screwing up, but keeping all the young guys in shape and making sure everything's going the right way, with limited ice time, but on that fourth line role. So each step was a different part of my career. It was the beginning, the middle, and then the end, and to be a part of it in different roles. I feel fortunate that I was able to do that.
I want to ask you kind of about how your career unfolded post-career. Right after you retired, you joined the Montreal Canadiens as a scout. What were your goals when you retired, and then how did you get started with Montreal?
Mark was I guess he was director of player personnel in Chicago. So him and I hooked up a little bit. And then when I retired, I was just trying to keep my foot in the door and stay in the game and learn a little bit about everything. I was living in Minnesota, and they hired me to do UFA scouting for the college ranks. And so it was basically in my backyard. So I just kept busy with it there. That's how I got involved in scouting. It parlayed in the next year with Dale Talon calling me and getting me on as a pro scout. And then quickly, I think it was early November, they let the whole staff go in Florida. Next thing you know, I was behind the bench in Ottawa, and I was going, "What am I doing here?" But yeah, it was pretty remarkable how quick it went. I wanted to coach, I wanted to get into all this, but I didn't know it was going to go that quick. And then Gerard Gallant came in the next year, and I interviewed with him. I didn't know him from anything, so he hired me real quick and kept me on as a staff, and then just kept parlaying after that.
So you played in college, and I've always talked on this show about people that have been through college. College hockey is a lot more learning and teaching, because you have practice Monday through Thursday. You've got longer practices and more film sessions. Do you think that helped you make the transition from player to coach, going through your experiences in college?
Back when I was in college, I graduated in 97, so there was no video whatsoever. But there was a lot of practice. There was a lot of 1.5-hour, 2-hour practices, a lot of teaching going on out there. And for me, when I got to college, I was 150 pounds, so it gave me some time to grow and to learn and learn the finer points of the game that I had to learn in order to play in the NHL. So yeah, it definitely helped me, and I think it helps every player to take their time. And there's a process to it, and everybody's got a different path to the NHL if they're going to make it. And I think rushing is the wrong thing to do.
John, you alluded to this earlier, but I wanted to clarify this. Did you always know it was coaching that you wanted to do? And if so, why?
I don't know. I just found that I always had a good relationship with coaches, and they seemed to lean on me a little bit and ask me questions about the game when things were going crazy out there, or they're getting feedback. Like I said, there was no video when we first got in the NHL, so it was a lot of feedback, a lot of talk, and there was a lot of drawing up things, and they helped me, I helped them. But I just felt like I had a real good, strong grip on what was going on the ice in terms of like systematic things or what we should do next. And it was always adjustments, and I was always about adjustments and making adjustments. So I just found it very natural for me. I don't know why. I hate talking about myself in those terms, but it came easy to me in terms of that ability. And next thing I knew, I was coaching, so it was awesome.
So walk us through kind of the next steps as you were going forward into your coaching career. How did you end up as the AHL coach for the Blue Jackets organization, and then how did you eventually get to San Jose?
Yeah, it's a crazy story. I was actually in Ann Arbor. And I was going back to school to finish. Let me correct myself. I didn't graduate in 97. I was 12 credits short. So I was going back to school and going to work with the staff there at Michigan. And I was in Ann Arbor, and Patrick Waugh got released or whatever happened in Colorado, and Jared Bettner took the job. And I get a phone call from Bill Zito, who was the assistant GM there in Columbus, used to be my agent. And he was like, "Hey, you want to come work?" And I was like, "No, I'm going back to school." And he's like, "Come on in, just, come for an interview and see what it's like," and so on and so forth. So I went for an interview from Ann Arbor. It was a short drive. And I got the job. So it worked out great. And I spent 3 years there, never graduated. so good. But then that just parlayed into the next year. San Jose, I didn't know anybody in San Jose. I didn't know any of the GMs. I didn't know any of the staff. I didn't know anybody. I get a call from Bob Budner one day, and he said, "I'm looking for a coach." And I was like, "Well, I'm available." And I did an interview with him, 2 interviews with him, and I ended up getting the job. So that's how I got to San Jose.
That's unreal. But we talk about that in hockey a lot, how it's those interpersonal relationships and how small the world of hockey is that it just falls this way. And we're going to bring up one of the former coaches here, John McLean, who worked here for years. So we did a little pre-interview checkup on you to make sure you checked all the boxes. And Johnny Mac had nothing but good things to say about you. And I tell you what, he's one of the best guys they've ever had here in the coaches room. Have you had an opportunity to sit down with this new coaching staff and find out how your personality meshes and how you guys get along?
No, not yet. It came up rather quickly. Again, I didn't know anybody. Billy and I crossed paths maybe a couple times. Both our sons played at Avon at the same time, but never really had any conversations with each other in terms of hockey. We just knew who each other were, and when I would get to a game, or when he would get to a game, because neither one of us were able to get to many games. I think maybe twice we crossed paths there. So I knew him a little bit, but that's it. After that, I didn't know anybody, and I was quite happy to do an interview when I got asked to do an interview. And, I didn't know Andre at all, Bear for that matter. I didn't know at all. So it came out great. We talked, and I must have said something right to get the job. And it just worked out pretty good.
I want to get back to the Coyotes in a moment, but I want to look at some of your work in San Jose in particular. Obviously, when you look at numbers, San Jose's PK was ranked second in the NHL last season. Without diving too deep into the X's and O's, what would you say were some of the reasons, what were some of the elements that made that unit successful?
Well, I'll be honest with you, personnel plays a huge role in it. We had guys like Middleton, Burns, Ferraro, guys that really bought in on the back end. And I hate the word, I don't like to use the word buy-in. They really took it upon themselves that if they got scored on, they let the team down. It was more of a personal thing. So I think that plays a huge role. I think anytime I've been part of a penalty kill unit as a player, it was personal. It was, if you got scored on, it was very personal, and I think that they put just as much pride in that as scoring a goal. So I think that was a huge part. I was very blessed with a lot of guys up front. We had Logan Guenther, Tommy Hurdle that were very good. It was among other guys. We used a bunch of guys, but they all were. They took it personal if you got scored on. So I think that's a huge part of it. Without getting the X and O's, I think that's the biggest thing, is that if you have guys that really want to go out there and do a good job and take it to heart, they're going to have success.
Structurally, is there anything significant that you do different, or do you rely on well-known systems, but just, rely on guys being disciplined within those systems? What does it look like? How do you break that down?
Yeah, I think there's maybe only 5 teams in the NHL. Carolina is one of them. Colorado used to be one of them, and they changed it up a little bit. Tampa uses a very similar system. Toronto uses a very similar system. And the reason why I bring those teams up is because if you look at all of them, they're all in the top 10. Obviously, a lot of those teams have good goalies as well. But, having said that, they're aggressive, just being aggressive. I find that if you leave good players, you take a good player and you leave him on the half wall and you give him time and space, he's going to become a great player. Then if you take a great player and you give him time and space, he's going to become an unbelievable player, and they're going to pick you apart. So for me, it's about, getting aggressive, but being smart aggressive at the same time.
Well, you look at the penalty kill, and we talked about San Jose being second. Unfortunately, the Coyotes had a tough year, not just in the standings, but in the penalty kill as well. They were the bottom third of the league. They finished the league in 20th on the PK. Have you had an opportunity yet, and we talked about film in college, but have you had an opportunity to take a look at the Coyotes PK, and do you see some bright spots that there's maybe some areas that you can help improve upon?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really dove into it too much, but 2 years ago, when we were playing with COVID, we played them a lot. We played them 8 times to be exact. So I got to really see a little bit of their PK. Obviously, there'll be a change, in my opinion, in the neutral zone. Be more of a 1-3 rather than I don't know if they call it a moving box. So that will help out. I think, in my opinion, the 1-3 generates better kills and better, it's better against zone entries in terms of a drop pass or so on and so forth. But we're getting into a little more detail. But I just think overall, I think at times there was a lot of passiveness, and I don't want to see that. I'd rather see guys make an aggressive mistake rather than being on the passive side and having to eat a lot of pucks and block shots all the time.
Okay, I don't want to give any secrets away on how to defend against or to play against your penalty kill. But one thing that bothers fans of this show and people that read Craig's articles, and honestly a lot of hockey fans, the drop pass on the power play, it slows the game down. I can't stand it. But anyway, the drop pass, how do you defend? Because everybody does it. Everybody's got a single drop or a double drop. They got 2 guys, 1 guy. How do you defend the drop pass on your PK up ice? If you don't want to give secrets away, that's fine. But how do you defend that? Do you sacrifice F1 and put them in behind? Or do you just take it soft and let them come at you?
I'll give you the Cliff Notes or the Coles Notes, depending on what part of the world you're from. I try to get the puck out of the puck carrier's hands. Just say, for example, Cal McCarr's got the puck, right? And he wants to drop to McKinnon. I try to get it as quick as possible out of his hands, like before the top of the circles. So now they can't generate as much speed up the ice. That's my first theory of the whole thing. Obviously, when you're dealing with different personnel, Cal McCarr could take the puck end to end if he wanted to. So, you have to adjust in terms of what your thinking is. Every team has a different, type of personnel. So that being said, so at least when McKinnon gets it, he's at the bottom of the circles. He's not coming up the ice, 100 miles an hour, because he skates 100 miles an hour anyways, and then it becomes very difficult. The thing about the drop pass to me is once the puck gets in his hands, there isn't a whole heck of a lot he can do. He doesn't have many options. It seems like everybody else has stopped. So it becomes, again, 1 against 4, in my opinion. So if you can put some good pressure on him, dot lane pressure, hold the lines, make him dump it in, and make him go get it, you'll have success.
You mentioned the importance of personnel to the system. Do you look for certain types of players? Like a few years ago, we saw a very effective PK here with Michael Grabner and Brad Richardson at the top. They were very aggressive, pressured a lot, scored a lot of shorthanded goals. Do you need players like that, or can you fit different types of players into your system?
Yeah, I think in my system, we have to have at least 6 to 8 penalty killers up front, and we got to use almost all of the back end because it's very aggressive and it's very taxing. A couple things that I think about is, you know, any team struggles when you get into 6, 7 PKs a game. You just can't do it. You know, so I think being disciplined in that manner, keeping around that 4, 5 would be stretching a little bit, but having different players. I like players that have an offensive flair to them when they're on the ice and that can score goals, because it keeps the other team on their heels a little bit in terms of like, hey, if we get careless and we turn it over and they get you know, we can go out and score a goal against them or take the momentum of a game over. You know, I scored shorthanded goals as a player, and I thought it was one of the things in talking to other guys is they said, man, every time you're on the ice or anytime you have people on the ice that want to score goals against you, you can't get careless, and it puts things, you know, in a different perspective than it would if it was someone else that didn't want to score a goal.
So you were a forward in your career, but you actually coached the defenders in San Jose last year. Was that something new to you, or had you coached defense before in your, you know, coaching career?
I did it the 2 years I was in Florida with Gerard Gallant, and we had a lot of success with it. I know people keep constantly, when I did other interviews, they asked me that question. And I'll be honest with you, being a Selke Trophy winner and playing a lot in the Jersey system under Larry Robinson and certain guys, I just kind of adapted to the D zone system. I mean, other than taking a rush, you know, a one-on-one rush, playing down low is the same thing. It should be the same thing as a low forward and the D-man. Killing plays in the corner. There should be nothing different. Your stick's in the right spot. You're angling people. You're keeping them on the outside. You're boxing out in front of the net. So there's a lot of similarities, in my opinion, and actually very, very similar. So I think it's just the same for anybody that's playing low with a D. You got the same concepts involved.
Yeah, we talked a lot and I know you weren't here last season. We suffered through 82 games of Coyote hockey, and it defensively was an issue. There was a problem in the defensive zone that you brought it up as a system that I'm really excited to see you add some just new ideas and thoughts. It was, you know, it is personnel related at some point, but I'm excited to see how you take over that. And I've always heard coaches say, well, he's a defensive coach, like Dave Tippett. Oh, he's a defensive coach, and it's not. Well, kind of depends on who you coach. Like Dave Tippett with McDavid didn't look too defensive to me. I do think with your background, core defense, everything starts from there. You don't win championships without being able to defend. So do you think the New Jersey system just lends itself? You're just more aggressive, or can you speak to the time, you know, how you defended in New Jersey and how that's carried you through to today?
Well, I think people overlook and they call it a trap. We've never called it a trap in Jersey. In fact, in 2003, you can fact check me on this one. I think we were the number one team in the league, or at least top two, at scoring goals for in 2003. So people forget about that, but I just find it being aggressive. Like, I'm a defensive-minded guy because I believe that you need, like you said, you need to play from your goalie out and defend well in order to win. That's just and care. But at the same time, I did say on my penalty kill I want to be aggressive and score shorthanded goals.
Sure.
So there's a combination between what people think is being too defensive and being aggressive. And I think that's the common theme, is to find that happy medium between the both, where you're not reckless, but at the same time you're aggressive to the point where it puts people on their heels.
John, do you know, in fact, that those roles you had in San Jose are going to be your roles here in Arizona? Has that been discussed yet and hammered out?
No, not yet. We haven't got into complete detail of it. I know I will be running the PK for sure. And then I think, Bear and I need to sit down and figure out all the other details of it. We just, things got going pretty quick here for us.
Can you give me a little more insight into this hiring process? You mentioned that you didn't know Bear. How did it all come about, like from start to finish?
I think I had a few people, well, I shouldn't say I think, I know I had a few people that were close to Bill reach out and just say that I was interested, I was available, and then I did it myself. I reached out with a phone call, left him a message saying I was interested, and I just wanted an interview. And from there, the interview process went 2 days. The interview, did a Zoom. I did a phone one first, and then I did a Zoom, extensive Zoom. I think it was at least an hour long. It's probably the longest interview I ever done in my life. And I'll be honest with you, when I got off the interview, I wasn't too sure because there was some very tough questions, and there was some, there was some good questions too. So I was like, I wonder how I came off. And like I said, I've never done an interview like that before, so it was pretty extensive. Bill and Bear put me right through the ringer. I tell you what, when I was done, I was supposed to go golfing. I actually canceled golf because I wasn't sure what just happened. So,
do you have any connections to Arizona, just or Phoenix or Scottsdale as a city or state? And have you found a place to live yet? Have you spent much time here?
You know what? I was lucky. I shouldn't say. Yeah, I guess I was lucky. A few years ago, I remember when I was in San Jose. We did our training camp there, and we had to stay there.
Oh, yeah.
So that, being a month there, I got to learn a little bit about the area and where I wanted to go, and so on and so forth. So it was kind of good to get a good bearing. Normally you're in and out, right? You fly in, you play a hockey game, you go out to dinner at Steak 44 or whatever, and then you're gone the next day. So this was great to actually get a good feel of it. So that's my extent of being in Arizona.
Do you have a place to live, or is that still coming?
Not yet. Not yet. We're still looking.
By the way, that little gym that you guys use next to the ice den, they still have the San Jose Sharks banner up in that gym. I was in it just a little while back. Yeah, so haven't cleaned that out yet.
Yeah, you'll still be used to driving back to the rink in the golf carts because that's coming. You're used to it though, so no big deal.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
No, the last thing for me, what's next? So you're still at home. When do you get to Arizona? What is your plan? Have you started getting ready for coaches meetings? Have you got those meetings set? Training camp, of all those things to come, what's next for John Madden?
Right now, I'm going to start packing up this place that we're living in right now. That's my first and foremost. We're trying to get there probably right after Labor Day weekend and get settled in. It's just going to be the wife and I. My daughter's basically off in college. My son's playing for the LA Kings or Ontario team. So, we're just going to be the two of us. So we're going to get in there and get settled and put some roots down and start grinding.
But 4 dogs too, right?
Yeah, that's the big part when you're trying to find a place.
Yeah. What does that look like? You can't fly with 4 dogs, right?
No, there'll be an extensive 2-day trip with me in it. That's for sure.
Any other questions?
I'm good. John, thanks for doing this.
Yes, thank you so much. Great talking to you. Great meeting you. And hopefully we'll get to talk to you again and hopefully have you back on our show once the season gets underway.
Best of luck, John.
I really appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, John. Thanks again. Awesome.
See,
Take care, guys.
That's what you want to do. You want to get to know the people and feel like they're just people. You know what I mean?
He's got 4 dogs. I already feel like I know.
Yeah, like what a good guy.
Yeah.
I think it's good to put new blood into a coach's room. I think it's good to make changes inside a coach's room. I think, again, I'm going to soapbox for a minute. I think sometimes coaches' rooms can get stagnant. And what happens when they get stagnant, unfortunately, the one that goes is the head coach. If the head coach is open and willing to bring someone in and get new ideas, fresh ideas, I think it can help them be a better coach. And I think it give them some longevity in the game too. So I think this is a great move by the Coyotes. I'm excited to see what his defensive zone philosophy is, how it matches with Bear, how they can work through it. It's Bear's team. He's the head coach. But can John Madden instill some of those Selke Trophy winning, skills and help this team defend better? Yeah. Maybe.
And it's funny to talk about an elite PK, right? Like it's not what you usually hang your hat on, but Coyotes fans remember what it looked like when Richardson and Grabner were at the top. Nick Hjalmarsson was down low. I mean, that unit was fun to watch when they were on the ice. So PK can be an exciting part of the game when it's good.
And literally all we've been asking for is just exciting hockey to watch.
Something.
We
Give
know,
us something.
Yeah, we know this is going to be another year much like last year. We're going to suffer. They're going to lose a lot, but like we said all year last year, we just need it to be interesting, competitive, entertaining, and we'll see what happens. And I'm really excited. It was really great talking to him. And I feel like you said, Petey, just to have some new perspective. Yeah. Phil Housley was part of the coaching staff prior to Coach Tourigny. So, he was kind of tying on to the not the old way, but just like the old regime. And this is kind of now the first breath of that new life, and who knows, maybe he'll be part of this coaching staff when this team starts to get competitive. We'll see what happens. But
yeah,
it's
and I
exciting.
wished I would have asked him about the new arena. What are his thoughts?
I was going to say that won't be the same as last year.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but if you had any thoughts on that, so that's the only one I missed. And
Gila River Arena is moving on, as we've discussed.
I saw that, and Caleb brought it up. I want to know how he got into the football video game business, because that seems to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, God, imagine
John
having
Madden.
that name.
Probably hasn't been asked.
Probably not the same guy.
No.
Yeah, when you Google him, you have to do John Madden hockey.
Yeah.
Well, you can imagine him like if he's doing the telestrator for players, or
Boom! Yeah, that's awesome.
No,
I would. Totally would.
Oh,
Anyway,
man.
they
sorry.
probably would. Half those guys probably don't even know who
know
John
what that
Madden
is. Don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like who?
Yeah, I mean, I know who John Madden is, but I didn't get that reference. So
Okay.
yeah,
There it is.
There it is. Well, it's August 1st, which is crazy. The year's flying by. There's not a ton of NHL to bet on this month. World Juniors are coming up though, so that there's already odds on DraftKings for that. There are NHL future odds on DraftKings as well, so you can bet on plenty of hockey, but you can also bet on baseball's going on, WNBA, soccer, like obscure things like cornhole, literally anything you want. Literally. So just because it's kind of dead season for hockey fans and basketball fans, there's still plenty to bet on. So if you haven't already, make sure you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code PHNX, make your first deposit, and get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code PHNX only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. We're all back.
We are. We're all back in studio. First time in a month, you said?
First time, literally the last time was July 1st, and today is August 1st.
Here we are.
And here we are.
And Petey brought Pellegrino.
I did, in honor of Craig and his hip surgery.
And Craig, well,
I'm alive.
Let's hear
So,
it. Let's hear.
there's
How'd
that.
everything go? How was it?
He was efficient. Mayo is unbelievable. So you have to call the night before to find out when your arrival time is for surgery. And I called and they said my check-in time was 5:30 a.m., which was pretty rough. So we had to get up at like 3:45, get ready, get up to Mayo, check in. But I'm in the pre-op room by 6:30. I'm in surgery by 7:30. I go into the room. They're like, okay, we're going to do the spinal. We're going to knock you out. And that's the last I remember. I was looking around this massive room with insane amounts of equipment and insane amounts of people there. And then 30 seconds later, I was out. I woke up. I was in the recovery room. And then it's a matter of waiting for you to pass these benchmarks where you have to eat something, you have to drink something, you have to pee on your own, and you have to be able to move your legs, move your toes. And that was
We
I
did
was telling
see
these
the
guys,
wiggling toe
yeah,
video.
I was wiggling the toes. And then by 2:30 in the afternoon, I was walking out of Mayo.
That's
Same
unbelievable
day.
to me. Phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, is it better?
Well, not yet. It's not. I mean, if you
Well,
look
no,
at my
not
legs side by
healed.
side, this one's like 1.5 times the size of the other one. It's swollen.
Yeah.
I've got a big incision, but
we're hoping the pain and the amount, all that everything's better,
pain
right?
is- yeah, it's how many days out are we? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Were you in
4
pain
days out.
before, though?
4 days out. I'm off pain meds now.
Yeah.
So
4 days out.
by and large, I'm still taking like
Are you
Tylenol.
gonna? Can we expect
but-
you back in the net anytime soon?
No, that's not
No.
happening.
No.
Hey, I
No
can't do
bounce
anything
back.
strenuous until PHNX has moved into its new office.
Can you imagine that around the house? No,
That's what my
honey, I
doctor
can't.
told me.
Oh no, honey, I can't. Can you help? No, can't. Can you help with it? Nope, can't.
That's literally we are moving. If people don't know, we're moving offices in literally 2 weeks from today. And Craig just
Had nothing to do
Can't.
with my schedule.
yeah, sure.
I also just scheduled a hip surgery for next week.
Petey's like,
Shut
actually,
up.
I'm going back to Iowa.
I'm going back to Seriously, I missed that. I've been gone for 2 months, and you couldn't have moved then?
Literally.
Because we literally have to take everything, right?
Yep. How was your
Good luck, guys.
How was your road trip back, Petey?
So, do you know that's a long way? It is a long. So,
Buddy.
there were 2 consecutive 12 to 13-hour days behind the wheel.
Did you take turns with your
No.
wife?
No,
You
I
drove the whole time?
Yes.
She didn't drive once?
No, I'm driving.
I'm familiar with that process.
I'm driving.
Because you insist or because she doesn't
I
want
insist.
to? Oh.
No, she'd always ask, "Can I drive?" No, I'm driving. I'm driving.
Is it the same for you?
Honestly, the biggest reason is we travel with the dog, and I don't want to deal with the dog because the dog's a mama's boy, and he's sitting on her lap. And so if we switch, he's not going to sit in my lap. He's going to try to get in her lap because she's driving. And why? No. So I'm going to drive. The problem was the second day was really, really, really bad weather.
Oof.
From Amarillo, Texas. We started in Amarillo, Texas, by the way,
route. Oh,
and finished here. So that's through
That's a pretty route too.
very beautiful. New Mexico's not bad. Oklahoma, Texas, horrible.
West Texas
But
is
through Payson,
maybe the ugliest place on
snowstorm.
earth.
Did you just say New Mexico's not that bad?
It's kind of
Well,
pretty coming into
After you leave West Texas, New Mexico is looking pretty good.
Albuquerque. I don't mind Albuquerque coming in and out of Albuquerque. So then here's I'm going to tell you the worst part because there are more bad parts. So the weather sucks. Got that. All this travel. Get up the next day, exhausted, still in the wrong time zone. 24 hours behind the wheel. My wife says the garbage disposal is not working. I said, okay, but this happens before things get stuck. You push the button under, we're good to go. That doesn't do it. So I turned the water on and I looked underneath the sink. Literally holes in the garbage disposal. Water is shooting out underneath the sink.
Okay.
Shooting out. So this isn't something that can wait because now we can't use the sink, the dishwasher, nothing, right? So have you ever put in a new garbage disposal?
No.
I hadn't until yesterday, and now I have.
Wow.
So if anybody needs help with their garbage disposal,
There it
they
is.
can call me. It's not as hard as it sounds.
Wow.
Under a half hour. Boom.
Look at that.
New garbage disposal. So there you go.
So
That was my
you had quite a
back
weekend.
home. Welcome home.
Yeah.
Welcome. And there's a
Welcome
lot
home.
more shit like
Everything's
that
broken.
going on. A lot more like it. But you know what I did the first thing I walked home that night, Saturday when I got home?
Open a full
Kilt lifter.
piece. Yeah.
I swear the first thing I did is open a kilt lifter.
God, nothing feels better. Like you finally get somewhere after driving. It's just like
Yep.
you don't have to worry about not drinking because you're like you just get
I'm
home.
there. Done. Kilt lifter.
Love it.
I've been waiting for my 4 Peaks for 2 months.
Love it. Well, okay. And when can you drink again?
Soon.
Okay. Well, as soon as you can.
Maybe next week.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe next week. Maybe next week on one of these shows we'll just crack one open.
I was going to
because
today, but
why not?
We
We
still
have.
got this voice, by the way.
Wednesday.
I know.
Are we here
it's very
Wednesday?
sultry.
Are we on
We
Wednesday?
are here Wednesday.
Are we here Friday?
Don't use that. It's not what my kids are saying.
Well, yes, we love Four Peaks. Glad that you got to enjoy some when you got back. And we need our next winner of the Toast of the Month sweepstakes. We crowned our winner at Four Peaks Wednesday last week. So enter the Toast of the Month sweepstakes now at gophnx.com or click the link in the show notes. Winner gets a gift card, merch from the locker, all that good stuff. And we love Four Peaks, but you must be 21 and older to enjoy it and enjoy responsibly. And also, I want to tell you about FOCO. We are partnering with a leader in sports merchandise and collectibles. FOCO's got you covered with the best Arizona merchandise. They have officially licensed gear for men, women, and kids, and everything from bobbleheads to swimsuits to Crocs. Head on over to FOCO, that's FOCO.com, or click the link below in the description. For all non-presale items, use the promo code PHNX for 10% off. By the way, we ran our poll of the hashtag for the season.
Oh, Craig wasn't there.
Yes, Craig wasn't there. So Craig, we read all the hashtags on the show, and we decided we were going to do it bracket style and pit them against each other. So we got some good responses. The first round of polling closed. I have to find the results, but we'll post the next poll later in the week. You know, move everyone forward. People were loving Sean's shit the Bedard.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were saying, I don't know if I can cuss in it.
Yeah, I don't we have to.
I also don't know if Connor Bedard ever saw how much he would be a fan of shit the Bedard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, the fact that collapse for Connor we might have to rig these votes because
I like collapse for Connor.
Oh, but dishonor for Connor.
I like that one too.
Yeah, I like that one. So the ones moving forward are dishonor for Connor, shit the Bedard, bomb for Bedard, and everyone's personal favorite, hashtag it doesn't matter, the league will screw us for the Hawks to get Bedard. So we'll see how that moves forward. So that'll be later in the week. But can we tell everyone what we're doing tomorrow, or is it a secret?
No, we can tell them.
Okay,
Sure?
so speaking of Craig's rehab of walking, we will be walking plenty tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's
because-
tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
The three of
I gotta
us
read my email.
are going to ASU's multipurpose arena. We're getting a tour, behind the scenes tour of the arena, and we'll film video content. And then on Wednesday's show, we're just going to talk about what we saw and have some videos and
I'll have a
pictures.
story as well.
To share on Wednesday. So we're really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to getting in there. I never even drove by it until the other day, so I'm really excited to get
Craig
inside.
and I got the sneak preview.
Yeah, you got the.
Are the elevators working? Oh,
There's
shit.
one working.
Okay,
So
that's
you'll
all you
need that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because last time we walked a lot of stairs, and that is not conducive for hip surgery.
No, I won't be doing stairs.
No,
I'm
but-
excited.
yeah.
I'm really excited to see what we're looking like. Because I tell you what, ASU hockey season's right around the corner too. So hockey it's August.
It's
coming.
Start of October for ASU, so
Yeah.
I'm
I
looking
know.
forward to this.
2 months. 2 months till October.
Really, I know it's not something that they're looking at, but I hope at some point they do a doubleheader. I want to cover a doubleheader, like an ASU game in the day or Coyotes game in the day and another game at night. That'd be a blast.
Yeah.
Is Greg Powers going to be around tomorrow? Do we know?
Not sure. I haven't talked to him yet.
Yeah. Just checking.
Yeah.
Other officials will be there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. So you'll want to stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes and subscribe to our YouTube channel, PHNX Sports, because we'll have tons of stuff. Maybe not all tomorrow, but definitely tune into the show Wednesday, and then we'll have some behind the scenes footage. So I'm really excited to get in there, and we'll kind of get our first real sense of what seeing a hockey game in there.
Yeah,
is
not
be
virtual,
like.
right? Like it's on the virtual tour. Now we're going to see the real thing.
And the test ice is down, so there's ice in the building. So
locker room, all that stuff. It's going to be really cool.
It's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. Man, all right. Well, is there anything else anyone wants to talk about before we head out?
I'm good.
Just that you mentioned World Juniors, and I haven't received definitive word on this, but and this is not going to be a surprise given the injury. It doesn't look like Dylan Guenther's going to play.
Bummer.
In the World Juniors, so too bad for him. I know that's something that he wanted to do, but best to rest up, get healthy.
Yep. Well, we'll see if any Coyotes prospects are part of the team.
Yeah.
So we'll follow along. I'm sure we'll have some shows about that because it'll be fun to have some hockey in August. I know
able to watch it anywhere if it doesn't involve Canada.
NHL
the World Juniors
Network
will be on, right? Yeah,
it'll be on the NHL Network.
Yeah.
Because the Linka's you can't watch the Linka anywhere.
Yeah, but it's fun to watch hockey in the summer. It just reminds me of a couple years ago when they resumed the NHL playoffs in the summer and how fun it was to watch hockey in July and August. So,
Petey had a blast in the bubble.
Matter of fact, we haven't. Craig wasn't here for our stories from the road. We need to have one episode
about the bubble,
because I've got pictures and videos. Yeah, like people might think, that'd be great. No, it's not. Unbelievably fortunate and lucky to have that moment in my life, but boy, did there some challenges in not getting outside for 30 days.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that.
We will, yes. If you haven't listened to our Tales from the Road audio episode from Friday, it's hilarious. I was so entertained by all of Petey's stories. And we're going to make it a series because we had so much fun for the rest of the summer. So be sure to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review if you're willing. It helps us out a ton. And be sure to follow PHNX Sports across all social platforms. We got coverage of all the sports. Cardinals training camp is going on. We got our crew out there every single day. So follow along PHNX Sports, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. Petey has a plan for his dance. Hopefully will be executed soon.
Right after this, I'm going to show you too.
And we are currently, at the time of recording, we have 3,637 Twitter followers. D-backs just passed 4,000. We need to catch them.
Yeah, that doesn't make us happy, to be honest.
So please,
here's my voice again.
Yes, share the page with your friends and family. Create bot accounts. I don't care. We want to hit 4,000 followers on Twitter. It would mean a lot to us. If we could do it even before the season started, I think that would be a great goal. So make it happen. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you again to Coach John Madden for joining us. Looking forward to meeting him in person in a little bit here. We got August and then September, and we're already at training camp and rookie camp and preseason. So kind of one more month.
Slow you roll there. Slow you roll. Let's enjoy this summer.
That's a little silly.
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay.
I'm ready.
Oh.
I'm ready for hockey to be back.
I'm not getting around.
The tragically
We're going to call Craig the tragically.
That was good, Caleb.
Caleb's on it.
Oh, always on
and
it.
Tyler said that those USA games on Holinka are on today.
On the NHL Network.
Nice. Okay.
So there you can do that later when you're just chilling at home, resting your hip.
With my leg up.
You're just doing laps around your living room.
Talking like this to my kids.
Oh, God. All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll have an audio episode tomorrow. We'll be touring the arena tomorrow. And then Wednesday, we'll talk all about it. So you'll want to tune in then live at 11 a.m. on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Till then, enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.